3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. Welcome aboard the Postgame Show alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Lots to get to on today's program as we continue following College World Series. Another elimination game is underway. Arkansas out front of Murray State early. U.S. Open reaction. Fantastic. I know a lot of people like golf. I know a lot of people don't like golf. But if you do, then you really enjoyed it. Even if you don't that much, you probably had a good time watching that one yesterday. A little bit delayed. They had about hour and a half, give or take?
93 minutes, I think, is the specific.
That's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, a little over.
Okay. That's why I said
count it.
Give or take.
About, yeah.
Thank you.
You were correct.
Yeah. If that was Jay versus the internet, would I win?
I'd give it to you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I have a lot of power that way. A lot of pull here behind the glass.
I know you are not a father, but you have one. That's a true story. How's your dad? Did you wish him a happy Father's Day? Everything's good?
I did. I wished him a happy Father's Day, and he got to vent to me about the Braves. He was not very thrilled. He sat through and watched that entire baseball game.
Well, that's on him.
Yeah. He said I started flipping it back and forth between that and the U.S. Open. I think he just had hopes that the Braves would wake up and be like, hey, we have bats too.
Yeah, they didn't yesterday. They did take 2 of 3, but I don't know if it was enough. And look, we talked about it on Friday for the Braves. Even if you were to have swept the woeful Colorado Rockies, you would have still come out of those series 6 games under 500 with the Mets coming to town tonight. Mets are in their first funk of the year. How much it matters, I don't know. Phillies were pretty good this weekend. Atlanta's bullpen yesterday just let them down. Grant Holmes was fantastic. The starting pitching, Elijah, believe it or not, for fans anyway, I know you're a Reds fan, not a Braves fan, but starting pitching for the Braves is beginning to come into focus. Strider had a good day the other day. Schwellenbach was amazing in his complete game the other day. Elder's been all right, again, I'd love to see the Bryce Elder of a couple of seasons ago that went to the All-Star game, but it seems like since he went to the All-Star game, he's been back to a AAA kind of pitcher. If he could regain some of that. Again, Holmes and his hair and mustache were brilliant yesterday.
Oh, that hair and mustache was flowing.
Well, I think the hair got 3 of those 15 strikeouts. The mustache accounted for one of them. The rest was his arm. That's still good, 11 strikeouts.
That still is. But, I mean, he walks in the building looking like that, and that's automatically 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it is.
And they just wasted it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Wasted it.
Yeah, they did. But, again, they took 2 of 3, so you've won 2 series in a row. I try to find any little sliver of positivity when it comes to the Braves. But, yeah, and, again, I'm not the cynical type. And I'm not the get mad and throw things type. I mean, it's sports after all. But I just feel like this is a season that is and you're like a week out of the final wild card spot even. And when I say a week out, what I mean, I think there's 7 or 8 games out. Mm-hmm. And there's like 4 teams in front of you. So I mean, I say a week out in the sense that if you were to go on a week-long winning streak and the teams you're chasing were to go on a losing streak, then you'd actually just be caught up, and that's it. And that's not going to happen either. So I don't know. But will the Braves be sellers? They're not going to sell any stars. I've seen a few things. That's Twitter. The Braves should trade Acuna and get a whole bunch of things for him. Stop it.
No.
They're not trading Acuna. They're not going to trade Ozzie. They're not going to trade Austin Riley. They're not going to trade Michael Harris.
Only one team in Major League Baseball is committed to the bid of trading your best hitter on a bi-yearly basis, and that's the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
That's their thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's their thing. You can't take it. That bit has been pretty well claimed already.
Devers got traded yesterday after hitting a home run in what ends up being his last at-bat as a Sox. He's traded out to the coast. It's a good pickup for San Francisco, who is finally, I think, having another quality season. It's been a little while for them.
Oh, crazy stat I didn't realize was a thing until I was on said phone call with my dad yesterday because we were talking about that trade too. And he said, you realize the Giants haven't had a player hit for over 30 home runs in a season since 2004.
Wow.
I wonder who did that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that guy. Is our plaque in here still that the guy sent us? Have you seen that?
Oh, I've seen the plaque, yeah. Somebody, I don't know, whenever they did cleanups around here might have...
Has it been moved?
Might have moved it for...
That's too bad.
Or labeled it as misinformation.
No, it's not misinformation. It's true. It was a pretty much a quote from me on my genuine appreciation for how good Barry Bonds is. Or maybe the exact opposite.
I think it's more of the exact opposite.
Maybe so. I don't know. It's been a while, man, so I can't remember. I'm old. I don't know all these things.
Been a bit. You say a lot of things.
But hope everybody, to come back around to the whole point of how that conversation got started, that you spoke to your dad. So glad he had a nice Father's Day. Hope
that's
all of
how
you
that
did.
conversation went, where we started talking about something,
Yeah,
and the Braves came up, and then he had to rant for.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
He wasn't thrilled.
We had a good time at the house. My family, my wife and daughters know me well. I got a couple of nice things too, but they got me a great gag gift. I don't know. I didn't even know this was a thing, but I'm a huge Simpsons fan, and they make a Moe's Tavern telephone. It's the size of the old push-button telephone that, of a certain generation. You had one. People of your generation didn't, although you probably had like a grandparent or something that had one of those in their house, right?
We had one in my house until I was like 6.
Okay, yeah, good. Well, anyway, it has like 10 or 12 of the best Bart prank calls to Moe's, and it has like 3 settings on it, but one of the settings is like ring mode. You put it on there, and the phone will ring until you pick it up. And then when you pick it up, it's Bart with his prank call and Moe, trying to do it's really
to call for somebody at that bar who is not there.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta find the right place to put it. But I got that and a couple other things, and it's a good day. It's a good day. Watched some golf. Didn't do much. Watched a little College World Series. Did not,
A lot of that.
because the golf went delayed or was delayed. I did not get to watch the United States soccer team end its 4-game losing streak with a 5-0 win over Trinidad.
I saw that it happened. I did not
too.
watch the game.
I did too.
And I was thoroughly impressed.
And then by the time the golf was over, I was like, oh, well, it's 5-0. Good for them.
They've won.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia next. It'll be a much tougher test than Trinidad. We'll get into that for you. We talked earlier, at least I said when I was talking to Terry and Tyler, if you haven't seen it yet, those of you who subscribe to The Athletic, good piece on the website today from the great Bruce Feldman on LaNorris Sellers. And it's more about how LaNorris flew under the radar in high school, how he had been committed to Syracuse, and then as, he became a lot more of a known commodity. There's a couple of quotes from Shane on, like, we saw him at 7-on-7. We needed to see more of what he could do, in actual competition again, and then they got it, and then Dal got here, and they're like, I love this kid, and then the relationship. A lot of it really, am I right in saying that maybe most of the football part of it was from Dal?
Oh yeah, a ton of it was.
Yeah, but it's really good, and if nothing else, just further illustrates where LaNorris now is on the national radar. J.D. Piquel had a piece on his latest On3 podcast. Well, I say on his latest. It was here the last couple of days. And then look, it's one guy's opinion, but it's a good opinion. That if LaNorris can just hone in on a couple of things that all quarterbacks can fix, you might be looking at the best quarterback in the country. He's not saying he will be or he is, and it can all be a matter of opinion. I think that's a very subjective thing. Is LaNorris headed towards being the top pick in the draft? I don't know.
He still has to play a whole season this year.
And listen, I really do. 2025, the 2026 draft class, but the 2025 year of quarterbacks in college is going to be a very good one.
I think that's why a lot of teams weren't too crazy about taking a really high pick on someone like Shedeur Sanders when you think you probably have better options next year.
Yeah, you can wait one more year. But this year, you and I have talked about it, is there there's hardly even any unknowns in the SEC. And you look at Cade Klubnik and what he's doing, and you look at some of the transfers into the Big Ten, or just some of the guys that are rising up. Drew Aller and what he's doing. But the kid, help me out, Prabula?
Prabula. Yeah,
went to Missouri. Left Penn State. Iowa's quarterback was the kid who lit it up at South Dakota State, I believe. Mm-hmm. and he's coming into the Big Ten. So it's a great year for a quarterback. I mean, the state of South Carolina has the potential to have 2 top 10 picks in the draft.
Probably the state with the best college football quarterbacking situation out of all the 50 in the union.
Probably.
I don't think Alaska's giving them a run for their money. I don't think so.
At least not yet.
At least not yet. I don't know if Anchorage has a gunslinger up there we don't know about, but I think the state of South Carolina between Klubnik and Sellers probably has the best 1-2 combo.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you at all. Arkansas still leads Murray State 1-0. We'll keep you updated on that. Why do we have to wait till tonight for Game 5 of the NBA Finals? Shouldn't it have been last night?
Should have been.
Why wasn't it?
Stanley Cup final nor an NBA final.
Stanley Cup
game was played.
That was Saturday, right? That was Saturday.
Yep, that one was Saturday.
I get that you wouldn't want to do that one again, but the NBA should have played last night.
Yeah, missed out on a great opportunity.
I mean, golf was over, again, a little bit later than they wanted it to be, but still golf was over literally before sundown.
And it would have been over before 8:30 regardless. Correct. Which is usually when most of these games start. All of them have started at 8:30.
How nervous were people getting when Dan Hicks kept saying, sundown tonight is 8:52? I'm like, Dan, if we have to play till then, we're in trouble. Buddy.
We're in trouble, yeah. At that point, if you're still playing at 8 o'clock, it's like, okay, we're playing this on Monday. Go ahead and
they did. I think they did say once Robert McIntyre was finished, they were saying that they told him, hey, if there is a playoff, it's going to be tomorrow. We're not going to do it tonight because the U.S. Open has changed playoff formats, which is kind of a bummer. I like the old 18-hole playoff. Like that was fun. That's cool.
Like the Tiger Woods Rocco immediate,
which they were showing a bunch of yesterday.
Oh, it was great
with Rocco wearing his Tiger outfit. I'll never forget that, man. We were doing the show. We were still across the river then. So I remember having it on, me and Haney and Deuce having it on. And I remember that was a story.
So much fun.
Like Rocco, yeah, it was great, man. It was great. And Tiger on one knee, wincing like every other shot. But like the birdie he made to get there and force the playoff, that was a long putt, man.
Just the combination of having someone of Tiger Woods' magnitude against somebody nobody's heard of in a playoff to win a major.
Yeah, Rocco,
with Tiger on one leg.
He was certainly not. I mean, Rocco was a steady tour player for many, many years, but he didn't have a lot of moments.
No.
That's true.
He was a guy on the tour.
Yeah. With a great name.
Yes, an incredible name.
Rocco.
You remember him because of the name, but you don't remember him because he's winning tournaments.
We'll come back on the other side, talk more about LaNorris. A couple of things going on across college athletics. I know some of you don't like hearing about it or like, are you serious? But the conference realignment wheel is about to start spinning again. Luckily, this time, it's not at the highest levels.
No.
But nevertheless, and I have a question about one of the conferences that could be involved because it really didn't dawn on me until today. What is the best group of 6 conference now? I think the status of those leagues is changing. So I want to get into that for you, too. And on the other side, we have a food-themed start bench drop today. And when I say food, all of it.
It's pretty broad.
You'll see what we mean when the postgame show returns. Welcome back in. Jay and Elijah with you on a Monday. It's the Postgame Show inside the Herndon Chevy Studios, downtown Columbia, wherever you are. Appreciate you being with us. Update from the World Series. Still 1-0 Arkansas. 2 on, 2 out. A near double play turned by Murray State, but the Arkansas runner just got his toe on the bag before the ball was caught, so didn't turn a double play to get out of the inning. So Arkansas still in decent shape here. Runners on second and third now with 2 out.
Just in one of my biggest pet peeves in sports, too. We just experienced it. Bang, bang, play it first. You go to the monitor to review it. Don't mind reviewing the play.
Yeah, get it right.
But it was pretty obvious that the runner was safe.
Yes.
Upon first viewing.
Yes.
We don't need to see 10 different camera angles of it. If you see one that gets the job done, okay, there you go. That should have taken 30 seconds.
It should have.
Max.
Didn't take too long. I've seen him take a lot longer. And a grounder just, all right, so.
It was all for nothing.
Inning over, yeah. Inning over. 1-0. But elimination game today. Were you surprised that Arkansas, I don't want to say played as poorly as they did Saturday night, but LSU was in total control.
Oh, they were. Yeah, they won the starting pitching matchup. That's the one edge LSU has, is that their top 2 pitchers are better than Arkansas's top 2 pitchers. I think Arkansas's bullpen helps really stabilize everything else. I'm not surprised to see that it went the way it did. I mean, was it a 4-1 game?
Yeah.
I mean, it's out of all of the teams in here in this field that have incredible bats, that one does not surprise me at all that the winner only needed 4 runs to win it.
And then Coastal yesterday, very dominant. Louisville was losing to Arizona going into the bottom of the 8th. It was 3-2, and then the Cardinals scored 6. Arizona just absolutely imploded. And, I mean, good for Louisville. But so Louisville eliminates Arizona, so the Cats are the first to go. Again, the loser of this one will be out as well. And yet, you know, Murray is a great story. And this game's, it's only 1-0. I mean, if you could put some pressure on Arkansas now here in the middle innings, then, you know, you might be in a position to make them think about it and clinch up a little bit. What does Langston say? Lemon booty?
Lemon booty, yeah.
But Gage Wood's dealing right now, and if he continues to – listen, I still really like Arkansas's chances. And plenty of, you know, obviously, I mean, the Gamecocks have done it, you know, I mean, amongst many others, but you can. It's harder, but you can certainly continue on and win the World Series if you have to come out of the losers bracket. It's not unheard of. And really, if Arkansas were that team, it wouldn't. The difference is more than likely going to be that Arkansas is going to have to do it against either UCLA or LSU.
It'd be tough, but I think that's the one team really in this, and I think Coastal's kind of this way too, where you have the combination of everything of pitching depth and reliable bats up and down the lineup. There's really not a weak link in that lineup.
Coastal, I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm just looking at it differently, but we talked about this even going back to the Super Regional with Coastal. They haven't really looked troubled. They had a couple of games that were tight. They had an extra inning game with Auburn. I get it. And they had that game that went, you know, kind of back and forth with Arizona on Friday afternoon.
Until they broke it open.
Right. But they don't look troubled. They really just, okay, all right, let's just go score next time. You know, I mean, let's go get a big play here. You know, they just don't look like they're really flustered or bothered or tight or nervous. They really look like they're in control. So,
yeah,
good for them. Start, bench, drop. Then we'll get into a couple other things that are going on around college sports. We've been having fun with this, so you can certainly weigh in. This one's fun today, I think. Anyway, Elijah and I just jumped right on it when I texted him yesterday. So this one's kind of it's easy and it's not all at once, but it's food related. Start, bench, drop. And instead of alphabetical order, I'm going to go chronological order.
There you go.
Right?
Easy.
Start, bench, drop. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. What you got?
This is the easiest one. I'm starting dinner.
Okay.
Like usually, I just never eat big lunches throughout the day anyway.
Okay.
And I will eat a ton at night. So dinner easy. breakfast I will bench, and I'm just dropping lunch.
Okay.
Because there'll be some days I just don't eat lunch.
I got
eat
you.
a big breakfast. Sometimes I can just skip it. Skippable. Very skippable.
I'll have mine later on. I feel where you're coming from. And
I love breakfast food.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. I mean, you jumped right in. I don't want you to regret that later when you might start thinking about breakfast foods relative to dinner foods.
Still a dinner food guy, preferably.
Or even some lunch foods. I mean, because every once in a while, you know what? It's really hits. Like when I was in New York City, I got like a big old corned beef sandwich from a New York deli. You know what? It's good.
It's probably good for dinner too.
It's good. You know what? I've never been, and I realize a hamburger or some such is different, right? But a hamburger, if you want to call it a sandwich, I get envy like, is a hot dog a sandwich? It's between bread. I'm not like a sandwich for dinner guy.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I don't think I could go to like a deli for dinner and get like, a club sandwich.
Oh, man, I make paninis for dinner all the time.
Now, see, that feels a little different because it's hot and grilled and, like
you're thinking just like cold sandwich.
Yeah, like if I just get like a cold turkey sandwich or like a roast beef on rye or something like that, I can't really have that for dinner. If push came to shove, sure. Like I'd rather have breakfast for dinner, pancakes.
I do love anything with eggs. I love a good fried egg.
So, anyway, start bench drop. And if you want to throw in some details as to, why you feel the way you feel, please do. 803-404-6100.
My man Craig on the YouTube stream already says start dinner, sit breakfast, drop lunch. See? Is that easy?
Yeah.
Me and Craig on the same wavelength.
I'll have one for you coming up in just a little bit. So, college realignment could be on the way. First off, how many of you, and I don't ask this to disparage the school, how many of you have heard of Texas State University in any meaningful athletics kind of way?
In terms of not confusing them with Texas Christian University.
Right.
Or Texas Southern even.
Or Texas Tech.
No.
Or even these days, Texas San Antonio. Or North Texas. All of whom seem like they've had more, public spotlight shown upon them than Texas State. And yet, according to multiple reports this week, Texas State University is poised to become the newest member of the Pac-12. Texas State is currently in the Sun Belt. And the Pac-12, right now, look, they still need to get to 8 to have their full-on certification. And they're not there yet. They have Boise and they have, help me out, Elijah, San Diego State, Oregon State, Washington State.
I think Fresno State, Colorado State,
Utah State. Yeah, they did not. They asked UNLV and Air Force, and both of those schools said, "No, we're good." Air Force didn't surprise me.
UNLV does.
UNLV did surprise me. And where's New Mexico right now?
It's in New Mexico.
Set myself up for that.
That'd be the Mountain West.
And again, the Mountain West, they should have had better talks and just found a way to just, retire the Mountain West name, take on the Pacific whatever name, and go from there. But they didn't do that. So if Texas State leaves the Sun Belt within the next year, it only costs them like $5 million. But if they leave after 2 years, it will cost 10. Like the buyout numbers go up. So they need to be doing this before next school year. So they got like 13, 14 months here. And they need to know sooner than that. But they would they would start in the new Pac-12 next school year. So then you say, okay, Jay, well, then who's next? Who's going to join whatever? And why wouldn't it be, say, Memphis or something like that? Apparently, Louisiana Tech, currently of Conference USA.
Conference champions.
Would be the new choice for the Sun Belt. And they say more for geography than anything else. I mean, Louisiana Tech's got a good reputation athletically, like from an historic standpoint.
They've always been solid.
Yeah, but Terry Bradshaw ain't walking through that door.
Nope. Neither is Karl Malone.
Or Karl Malone, I was getting ready to say, or Karl Malone.
Paul Millsap's not walking through that door.
So, Okay, but like Memphis apparently needs more money than they can be promised. I've told you before, and I don't know what happened and whatever else, what kind of talks were there. And I know this sounds mean, but why is Cincinnati in the Big 12 instead of Memphis? Memphis is such a good sports school.
You're underestimating the pull of Kenyon Martin, my friend.
Seriously, Memphis should be either Memphis should be in over one of Cincinnati or UCF, in my personal
It's
opinion.
definitely a athletic department that's got better backing financially. And it also is in a market where, yes, it's a pro sports market too, but they care a whole lot more about Memphis in that city. Like
Memphis
they
Tigers
care a lot about that basketball.
Memphis
program.
Tigers are part of the fabric of the city. It's like Elvis and Memphis Tigers, and then the Grizz, and then Ribs. We'll talk more about it on the other side. Don't forget to start, bench, drop. Breakfast, lunch, dinner is the postgame show. When's the last time you were out in your backyard on a hot day and said, you know what would be good right here? A pool. Might have been yesterday. Could be right now because it's going to be hot. Might be a great time for you to talk with the pros at Griffin Pools and Spas and get that backyard oasis that you have always dreamed of. Very affordable these days. Call Griffin. They are experts at doing this all across the Midlands, been doing it quite literally for decades. Whatever kind of pool you might want, big, small, you want a diving board, you want a big slide, you want all kinds of fun stuff, or you just want a place where you can maybe lay out in the sun, just go take a little dip and cool off one afternoon, whatever it is that you want, or maybe a spa to go along with the pool you already have. The Bullfrog spas are amazing. They get you customize every single seat. Just stop into Griffin, see for yourself what they do. Steps away from the Lake Murray Dam in Lexington, and always online at griffinpoolsandspas.com. And remember, when you get a pool, invite Elijah and me over. Potential for more conference realignment, at least at the G6 level. We'll get into more of that for you, too. A little bit of breaking news around Gamecock baseball. Welcome back in. Jay and Elijah with you on this Monday. Our buddy Kevin Miller at Gamecock Central reporting that Jarvis Evans, Carolina left-handed pitcher, has hit the portal today. Just 1 year in Columbia, 4-2 with a 5.89, 41 strikeouts, 17 walks. Had a good run there for about a month as the midweek starter. Tried to move him around a little bit. You and I may disagree a little on that. I like this kid's potential. I don't know if there's something that I don't know. I don't try to get into any soap opera-y type stuff for why somebody might leave.
Right.
So, we know what. And John didn't mention Jarvis by name or anything like that in his piece, but, there were clearly some guys that maybe didn't see eye to eye with Terry Rooney. I don't know if Jarvis is one of them or not. I'm not here to create any stories or over-speculate. But quite honestly, for a pitching staff that was not good.
Across the board.
I thought he was one of the better ones. Now, clearly, they didn't see him as a guy who could consistently start on the weekends. And like I said, at first, as things were going, you were like, all right, look, you need to win your midweeks. And I guess, he had some. But remember, then there was, I forget which pitcher went down, and then Jarvis had to get taken off the Tuesday or Wednesday roll and thrown into the weekend.
I think that's after Dylan got hurt at Arkansas.
I think, yeah. And then it just, again, like a lot of other things, it just seemed to have a snowball effect for the entire staff, and everything just kept getting juggled, So it was never ideal for anyone. And I know you look at it and say 4-2 with a 5.89, but again, if you had an ERA under 6 and you pitched regularly for South Carolina last year,
you're one of the better pitchers.
Yeah. And I don't say that like, as I say oftentimes, I don't say that to be a smartass. I say it because it's true.
Yeah, that's the reality of what the rotation was last year.
I mean, look, team ERA for the season was over 6. Team ERA in conference play was nearly 9.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty good.
So, yeah.
But he showed flashes. I mean,
I thought so, too.
Big left-hander, he showed flashes. The consistency thing was really the problem, and he struggled once he faced SEC hitters, and I think that's kind of the big knock. But you'd like to see somebody like that stay for a little bit to try to develop. This will be, he hits the portal now. He'll go to another school. Assuming he doesn't go back to Georgia, and it's a boomerang transfer, it'll be his third different school in 3 years, and have a feeling that might kind of halt the development progress for somebody like him.
Yeah, where was he before Georgia? Or was it just Georgia?
I think it was just Georgia.
Just Georgia. Okay, yeah. So 2 years at Georgia, 1 year here, and then I guess that's your point. 1 year somewhere else, unless he goes back. I got you. I mean, again, I thought he had he had one of the better years on a bad staff.
He had some of the better moments, I guess, some better games, better outings.
And what I like about a kid like that, as you said, he's a big left-hander, and I like that for your staff too. Find a role for him. Now, maybe he wants to go be a weekend starter somewhere. Maybe he wants to really show the pro scouts, I can do this, but I need the opportunity to go showcase it routinely. And I'm not guaranteed that at South Carolina. He might not be guaranteed that at Georgia either. Maybe that's why he came to South Carolina.
Was for that opportunity to be a weekend starter.
Or at least a regular starter, right? Like, again, if you don't have a couple of things go wrong, does he keep that midweek role all season and thrive in that? 41 strikeouts and 17 walks. That's not terrible. That's better than 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's
acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, again, you want it to be better? Yeah. I mean, everybody had a lot of walks for South Carolina last season. Everybody had a really high ERA too. I mean, that's why his being north of 5 but south of 6. Put in perspective, he is the 9th pitcher from South Carolina to enter the portal, 17th player overall. So Jarvis Evans done after one season in Columbia. The portal will be open for 2 more weeks. So, again, you can enter the portal up until the end of the month, and then you can take as long as you need to get to your new school, so long as, school hadn't started. That's usually how that works, right?
Something like that. The expectation. Yeah. I've seen stranger things happen.
Let's see. We are now into the bottom of the 6th inning College World Series elimination game. Arkansas still holding a very slim 1-0 lead over Murray State. Murray State's gotten out of a couple of jams.
Yeah, they just got done having 2 on.
So
or second and third. Got out of the inning.
They're hanging in there. And again, the longer you can hang around, why not?
They hung around against UCLA too. UCLA got up on them relatively early, and Murray State really didn't hit for the first 4 or 5 innings. But then they slowly chipped away at the lead and had a couple of instances where they could have made UCLA really sweat it. So they've represented themselves really well here.
You get a single and then get like a double to the gap, tie this game up, and make Arkansas think about it, man. That's what you need to do here.
I just think they can hit this kid on the mound right now.
Well, Gage Wood's dealing.
Yeah, Gage Woods.
Yeah, he's dealing.
Has he given up a hit yet?
You know what?
I don't think he has.
Let's find out.
Now, will I be the guy to jinx it on air publicly and say it? Buddy Craig said no hitter through 5.
He has not allowed a hit.
Well, we can blame us whenever he gives up a home run here sometime this
Gage Wood, 5 1/3, 11 strikeouts.
Dealing. Yeah, that's pitching you don't necessarily see if you're Murray State in the MVC frequently.
No.
They're showing a montage, too. I mean, he is just consistently hitting 98, 99 on the gun, too. He just got his 12th strikeout right there, swinging.
Elijah, is he perfect?
Nobody's perfect, Jay Phillips.
He hadn't allowed a walk either.
Then I guess he is. No errors for Arkansas.
Arkansas has not committed an error.
Wow. So I guess he is.
Yeah, this is his 18th batter fade. Yes, he is perfect.
He has retired the first 17.
Oh, my.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my.
Oh, boy.
It just sometimes it just doesn't dawn on you right away as to what's happening. But my. He is throwing a perfect game.
He can potentially eclipse what I consider to be the greatest postseason pitch game I've ever watched, and that was Kamar Rocker against Duke.
Yeah.
And what was that, 19? In 2019, where he struck out 19 batters?
I think that sounds right.
No-hitter. I think he walked one, but he had a no-hitter where he struck out 19.
Yeah, that sounds
against Duke in the Super Regionals.
19 sounds right. All right. Well, all of a sudden, our focus,
we have some interest. Yeah,
our focus turns just a touch there. Again, I knew he was dealing. I don't know that I quite realized it was dealing like this. Now we have a 3-0 count.
I was going to say flirting with disaster now, but then of course that guy's going to take one.
Yeah. Well, you just got to groove that one and hope for the best. Right?
And hope for the best. Yeah, I hope he doesn't.
I would have swung the bat right there. I'll be perfectly honest with you, man. Knowing I'm going to get one, I may as well swing the bat.
Swing away sign. And he'll give you something to hit that you can take out in the outfield.
All right, start, bench, drop, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Get you a few results on that one. Our own Cale Wilson has weighed in amongst others. We'll do that for you. Elijah's already he went straight in.
It was too easy.
He didn't even wait.
You sent me that text last night, and I was like, "Oh, I got this easy."
Yeah, I know mine, but I'm just gonna say it later. All right. Well, we'll see if this. Strikeout. Oh my. All right.
Now he struck out. How many now? That's strikeout 13.
We have a perfect game going at the College World Series. My goodness, 18 up and 18 down. Gage Wood.
We're monitoring.
Don't talk. Yeah, don't touch him. Don't talk to him. Don't do anything.
Isolate him in that dugout.
You're listening to the Postgame Show. All right, welcome back in. Postgame show rolling along on this Monday. Arkansas has 2 on, nobody out as they try to extend a 1-0 lead over Murray State. We're now into the top of the 7th. Loser goes home in this one. So there's a lot to play for. And again, Gage Wood, the stellar starting pitcher for Arkansas. I know that kind of sounded funny as Elijah and I basically just went through the box score. There was like, wait a minute.
He's realize
a perfect game. And he is indeed throwing a perfect game. 18 up and 18 down. So
I think his pitch count's mid-70s
it's in
right
the
now?
70s. Yeah. I'll go back to the box score and let me see. I can double check that for you real quick. He has thrown.
Then you do the math. He's got 13 strikeouts, too. Only 5 balls have even been put in play from Murray State so far.
Yeah. He's thrown 78 pitches.
Oh, and then Arkansas is giving a little bit of run support here, too.
That'll help. That'd be something.
Now, if you're Arkansas and his pitch count runs up north of 100, but you're still Dave
Van Horn. Here's the thing: Gage wouldn't be able to pitch again until Sunday. I think that's when you'd pitch him again, and he's dealing right now. I think you can let him get to. He can.
I think you let him go the distance if he's got it going on.
I mean, if it just gets to a certain point,
right?
Then and you see something that you don't like, then you'll make the move. But even if he does give up a couple of hits or a couple of walks or something,
because Arkansas is making it now a decision. Because obviously, if it's 1-0 the entire way, you have to.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can live with taking him out of that.
No, but at the same time, again, the more that's why I say he wouldn't be able to pitch again until Sunday. So, potentially Saturday, depending on what it looks like for them. But Sunday is where you're going to throw him again. You need to save your bullpen now. So you probably need to say, son, we're going to extend you here. Now, if he's still throwing a perfect game, Dave Van Horn doesn't want to mess with that either.
No.
But let's just call it what it is. Throwing a perfect game, look, that means you're going to win the game.
Yes.
So there's that.
Ensures that. Yeah.
But he's not going to do it if it's going to affect, if he thinks that Gage Wood's now getting up to 120 pitches or some such. Because 78 pitches through 6 innings, that's not terrible.
Not ideal.
But it's not. That's a lot of pitches.
He's going to have to get some ground outs.
But today he's striking it. I mean, as you said, he's got 13 strikeouts of 18 outs. 13 of them are strikeouts. That's
wow. Insane levels of dominance.
Wow. And again, he's thrown 78 pitches, 53 of them are strikes. So he's to have thrown 25 balls and not have a walk. He's dealing, man, but he's throwing a lot of pitches. So, he'd like a nice clean inning next inning.
Just a bunch of 3 straight ground outs.
Yeah,
maybe Murray State swinging on the first pitch.
Pop-ups, some such. But wow. So anyway, there you go. All right, and Arkansas.
They put up one, and they just got another one.
Yeah.
Because of a drop.
Oh, a drop.
Yeah, drop fly ball. That was in his glove, too, for Murray State.
That's tough. Yeah, oh, man. Yeah.
So 3-0 Hogs.
All right. We'll keep you updated. But, again, loser goes home.
I need that for our draft. I am behind.
Tonight, it's bracket 2's winner's bracket game, UCLA and LSU. Who you got?
I think I got LSU here. Starting pitching's too good. You might have to save yours. That will be on Jay versus the Internet.
Ooh, okay.
And hint, it is very one-sided in the voting. I'm sure you can probably determine on whose behalf.
All right, we'll come back on the other side, get you caught up on what's going on here. Again, Gage Wood tossing a perfect game at the College World Series. A Big Ten school's in trouble, and, man, their excuse is a good one. We'll get into that for you. They're not in big trouble, but there is a Big Ten.
They're in Big Ten trouble?
There's a Big Ten school in a little bit of trouble, and we'll talk more about what an amazing day J.J. Spawn had yesterday up in Pittsburgh at the U.S. Open. Lots more to do, including start, bench, drop, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's the Postgame Show. It's 4 o'clock on this Monday. Welcome back in. Hour number 2 of the Postgame Show coming at you from the Herndon Chevy Studios, downtown Columbia. Alongside Elijah Campbell, I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Hope your Father's Day weekend went well. Especially those of you who are, dads. I had a nice one.
Good.
Yeah. Had a little Bojangles breakfast. It was good.
Oh, man. I do love Bojangles chicken biscuits.
Put some marinated chicken breast on the grill last night just to be a little different. I thought about getting a steak, and I was like, I'll just do some chicken. It's been a while.
Been a bit.
Yeah, it's good. Marinated in a little balsamic vinaigrette, a little lime juice. It's good.
Interesting Father's Day tidbit. Don't you find it a little ironic that the winner of the U.S. Open on Father's Day was someone with the last name of Spawn?
Have you seen the clip yet? His little girls are, I don't know, they're like 5 and 3, it looks like, ish. All right, I'm not sure exactly how old they are, but they're little. And so it's dark by the time, he's done with all his media obligations, and they have like a trophy photo op and all that, and so it's dark out there. And the older one says, Daddy, it's time to leave. It's bedtime. And he goes, we're staying up late tonight. And she goes, yay! It was great. I love that kind of stuff.
Love that excitement.
Yeah.
There was almost no better feeling when you're a kid. You're like, we could stay up late tonight.
You're staying up late. Yeah. All this stuff's going on. When you're that little, like, you don't know it. Like, all you hear, like, one time, Daddy, you won. But like
you just won a game of Foursquare.
Yeah, she doesn't. He could have won the local muni. Right. And she's happy because, Daddy, you won. You won. What'd you win? $4.3 million. Probably going to be on the Ryder Cup team now. Probably moving. I haven't even seen the new world ranking.
Probably going to be a good Christmas.
He was already having a good year, and I think he was number 25 in the world ranking. I don't know what this will do in terms of vaulting him into the top 20 or where he exactly will land. And you get so many more points for winning a major when it comes to Ryder Cup, and I don't know what Keegan Bradley was already thinking about him. Again, he had not yet won. Remember, he pushed Rory to the playoff at the Players back in March. But he's having a good year. I mean, he really is. He's having a solid year, so it's not overly surprising. And are we going to see it end Elijah Campbell? No,
nope.
Foul. By the way, if you're just tuning in, Gage Wood is the starting pitcher for Arkansas. He's going to be a big-time pro. He's throwing a perfect game. We're in the 7th inning. It's the longest perfect game bid in Omaha since 1999. There has never been a perfect game thrown at the College World Series. I just pulled up the list of perfect games in college baseball. The last Southeastern Conference pitcher to throw a perfect game did so in a non-con game. It was Eric Brandon of Auburn.
2 first names.
March the 2nd, 2002. I'm going to give you one guess as to who the opponent was, Elijah Campbell.
Non-conference game?
Yeah.
You say in March of 2002?
March 2002, an Auburn pitcher threw a perfect game. Who was the non-con opponent?
Alabama Huntsville.
Murray State.
No way. You can't make this up. Remarkable.
Auburn's Jason Johnson in 1991 threw a perfect game against LaGrange.
Great ZZ Top song.
Yeah, old school ZZ Top. And the last, just for what it's worth, I know this isn't a conference game, but if you're just wondering, the last conference, SEC anyway, conference perfect game, LSU's Bruce Baudier, perfect against Alabama on May 5th, 1967.
Wow. Long time.
There were 2 perfect games thrown this season, by the way, in college baseball. Cam Bagwell of UNC Wilmington, perfect game against Campbell back in March.
Oh, the Humps got no hit.
And Ryan Rimbish of the University of Portland, perfect game over Seattle on February 25th.
The Mariners?
No, just the University of. Yeah, I don't know what their nickname is. We should know that.
Well, I do know Gage Wood's got a swing and strikeout, so that's strikeout 14.
That's 14 strikeouts. It's 85 pitches, though.
That's a lot.
Again, Dave Van Horn knows baseball inside and out, but I don't know how many pitches he's going to let Gage throw.
Seattle's the Red Hawks, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Not quite the Mariners.
Prior to the 2 perfect games thrown in college baseball this season, there had not been one since 2022 when there were 3. So it's rare, but there has never been. In fact,
more common at the college level because there is such a discrepancy sometimes between one team's pitchers and the other team's hitters.
Yeah, and
a lot of variance.
It doesn't even look. I mean, I suppose. Well, I'm just trying to look at like dates, but even early May, those aren't playoff games. I don't know that there's ever been a perfect game
like in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, unless they were playing the NCAA. Like, let's see, if you go back even to like May 3rd, 1980, Nebraska versus Kansas, I don't think that would have been that's a Big 8 game. May 5th, that May 5th game that I said about LSU and Alabama, 1967.
2 outs in the 7th, ground out.
All right, that's a conference game. Yeah, I don't think that it doesn't look to me like there's ever been a perfect game thrown in the NCAA tournament. And this goes, it says that the NCAA, here's the thing too, it says since the NCAA started tracking them in 1957. What the hell were you doing before that? It's a perfect game.
You guys knew what a perfect game was. I mean, it's not like you have to track that every day. Like, that's pretty memorable when one happens.
So, it's almost like if somebody throws a perfect game, we should probably like pay attention to that.
He got him a first base ground out. He got that ground out he needed. So now he's got a perfect game through 7. I got butterflies.
Talking about lemon booty all of a sudden.
I got it. I have no no dog in the fight here.
And that was an interesting.
Ball.
Yeah, man. First baseman had to get that one right up around his ear, close to it. Anyway, chin level. Anyway, wow.
Oh boy, man. My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy.
We got us one, kids. But perfect through 7. Gabe
this
Wood.
Is fun.
And how many pitches now? I mean, that was only.
I think he's at like 90. I think he's at 90.
Let's see.
I think he only went through. I think he only had about 9 pitches that inning. I want to say he's sitting at about 90 or 91. I'm telling you, the ground outs will be huge here. The strikeouts are fun. It's a sexy number. It's impressive to have 14 through 7. He's striking out 2 an inning right now.
Man.
This is dominant.
Yeah, this is all right. Well, we'll keep you updated, obviously. For whatever reason, ESPN's box score doesn't want to update me, so it's still sitting on 78 pitches, which I know is wrong.
Still a big pet peeve of mine with ESPN.com is they don't even have team pages for college baseball teams. Like, you can't go back and look at what they've done throughout the season.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Where can you do that?
I use WarrenNolan.com, free plug.
Yeah, okay.
Because they have the RPI rankings, and they split up like quad 1, quad 2 games, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, according to ESPN on their website, this game is still in the top of the 7th.
That is incorrect.
It's starting the top of the 7th, which is not correct at all. We just ended the 7th inning.
We are Big J journalists, so we can tell you right now that
we're going to the top
is
of
incorrect.
The 8th. Going to the top of the 8th. All right, good stuff. Start, bench, drop, breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's today's category. Hit us up, 803-404-6100. Our own Cale Wilson just texted in. And this one's a little interesting. Cale says, start dinner, bench lunch, cut breakfast.
That's bold. I don't think we're going to get a lot of breakfast cuts, but...
Well, I'll just go ahead. I'll just say right now.
You've already made up your mind.
I have. Now, but I'm going to approach this a little bit differently. I'm starting breakfast.
Okay.
I'm benching dinner, and I'm cutting lunch. I cut lunch for the same reason you did. I have been doing this. I used to eat lunch more, but I have been doing this job so long in the time of day that I do it that I just got out of the habit of having any kind of big lunch. Not that I ever ate like massive lunches anyway.
That's a dangerous game, though, in the middle of the workday, eating a lot of food.
Yeah, it is. It's not good. I just don't like doing it, and I got a great tip from the late, great Joe Penner when I was a young kid coming up, and he was like, don't eat a lot before you go on the air. Just not good all the way around. I was like, good advice, sir. Thank you, and I've held to that. I love breakfast. Now, that said, I don't eat like a, big, 2 eggs and grits and bacon and toast and, like the other day, like last weekend, we went to Waffle House and I got the All-Star.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, but I couldn't do that every day. Because for one, you could, but then you would also be considerably heavier than you need to be. unless you're like, running every day to get rid of all that.
You're burning as many calories as you're intaking.
And then some. Because, I mean, how many calories are in a syrup-filled Waffle House waffle?
Buddy, more than I can count.
Yeah, not to mention the calories in, 4 strips of bacon and the scattered and smothered hash browns and 2 eggs and toast. So, but I just love breakfast foods, breakfast casseroles, pancakes, waffles, French toast, bacon, sausage.
Breakfast casseroles are my favorite.
Like, my mom.
Hash brown casseroles.
R.I.P. mom. Like, my mom used to make, like, some amazing quiche that's just got all kinds of stuff in it. I love quiche or, like, a frittata. I just love breakfast food. Now, look, I love pizza and steak and a burger and whatever else, too. So that's why I'm benching. And like, look, for me, benching dinner, like, he's coming off the bench early, man. It's like a 6th man. You're coming in probably at that first TV timeout. So you're not wasting away on the bench.
No.
And I eat a bigger dinner every day than I do a breakfast. I do eat breakfast every day. I have to eat breakfast. I am a breakfast junkie. I do eat breakfast every day. But but of the foods, there's something about, maybe it's just more of a nostalgia thing of like a big breakfast is just, got a little more homey feel to it.
Yeah, here's a good question right here, though, from the text line.
All right.
Is this weekday only breakfast, lunch, dinner? Because weekends you have brunch and a hefty lunch. And I brunch pretty hard.
I can brunch of the best of them myself.
Brunched yesterday.
See, if it were, I don't know. That's a good question. That's why we said we could come at it from different angles. Because if it was a weekday thing, chances are that I got to reverse these. But if I'm just doing it from personal preference of like what I would want a big meal to be.
Yes.
Like when I go to Cracker Barrel or again the aforementioned Waffle House, that's like I like that. Like if you look, you and I were talking. You went to Cracker Barrel the other day, but you went for dinner.
Yes.
We just use Cracker Barrel as an example. We could use Lizard's Thicket as an example as well. I like fried chicken or a fried pork chop or meatloaf or chicken and dumplings. Like I love those things. Not just I love those things. But if you said, Jay, if you could only choose to go to Cracker Barrel for one meal for the rest, not one time, but one time of day for the rest of your life, or what do you have? I'm choosing breakfast.
Yeah, I think I do so too. This also just because I was thinking about going to Cracker Barrel from Friday night.
Now I think you can get breakfast at night if you want it.
Oh, you can. Yeah, that's what leads me to this. Is country fried steak considered breakfast food or dinner food, or lunch/dinner food?
Well, I think it's more dinner food, but I will tell you, depending on where you go and how they call it classic, like chicken and waffles. Like some places you get chicken and waffles and you might get like, say, a chicken breast, like a boneless chicken breast that's deep, like for like the same kind you'd get on a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
But then other places you only get like a whole, chicken wings or whatever, like bone-in fried chicken. And then some places I've been chicken and waffles and you get like 3 chicken fingers, which again, it's fine. So I'm putting syrup all over that instead of gravy, is the point I'm making.
Yes.
But if I had a chicken breast, like breaded like that, I could put syrup on it in the morning with a waffle. Or I'll put that gravy on it at night.
Built-in versatility there.
Yeah. So I'd say, like, I've never been a steak and eggs guy for breakfast. People eat like a I've never done that. Like steak for breakfast, like an actual steak.
I don't think I've ever actually done it for breakfast. I've done it.
And you don't get like a big giant, like 1 pound steak for breakfast. I guess somebody could probably eat that.
I probably could.
So I don't know, but that's what I would start. Just there's a feel about breakfast that makes me start breakfast, bench dinner, and drop lunch. Because lunch,
yeah, can do without.
I mean, if I need to eat lunch, I'll eat lunch. Let's put it that way.
I skip it the most of the 3.
All right, we're headed to the bottom of the 8th. Perfect game going at the College World Series. We'll keep you updated on the other side. Start, bench, drop, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and get into a few other things, including that Big Ten school that's in trouble. You're listening to the Postgame Show. Waking up in the morning a little stiff, just things feel a little out of whack, a little out of line. Time to get over to the Joint Chiropractic Center and get to feeling better. Their goal is very simple: improve your overall health with convenient, affordable chiropractic care and help you maintain your body and prevent those reoccurring problems that cause things to get out of whack in the first place. You can be in and out quickly at the Joint. You don't have to miss your lunch hour or work. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 7, Saturdays, 10 to 4. Again, no appointments necessary, no insurance necessary. They're FSA and HSA approved as well. Janet and Bob Keene are the local owners. They've been doing this for many, many years, involved in the community and really wanting to make sure that you feel better. Harbison Boulevard, Forest Drive, Roberts Branch, Sunset Boulevard in Lexington. Convenient, affordable, and I'm telling you, once you're in the system, they'll see you all across the country at a Joint Chiropractic Center, whether you're out there for work, vacation, sports, whatever. Remember this, kids. At the Joint, you don't have to feel bad to feel better. Nineteen minutes after 4 o'clock on this Monday afternoon. Welcome back into the Postgame Show. Jay and Elijah with you. Bad news. The perfect game is no more. Gage Wood hit a batter with a curveball
On the
sent
back
him to
foot.
first. Yeah. That's the bad news. The good news, the no-hitter is still intact. He's got an 0-2 count right now. He just threw his 100th pitch. So the Racers do have a runner on, 1 out, bottom 8. And again, there's a lot more at stake here than just Gage Wood having a day. Another strikeout there.
That's 15.
That's amazing. So he still has his no-hitter going. And I think, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Dave Van Horn, depending on what happens here, Dave Van Horn will let him go the ninth at this point. Because, again, you can save your bullpen, too.
Yep. And it's pretty cool to say you have a College World Series no-hitter. I don't know when the last one was.
Yeah, again, the list I had earlier was only perfect games in college baseball, so I did not pull up a list of no-hitters in college baseball.
But he still got the juice, man. He just blew 97 right by somebody.
Yeah, he's dealing. And the curveball he snapped off to hit that kid, I told Elijah the very next pitch he threw for a strike to the next batter, I was like, that's what he wanted to do, and it snapped too hard, and it just got away from him. And, look, he's feeling it. He knows what he's doing here. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what's happening.
He does. He's aware. When you're ultra aware when you're on the mound.
So, good for him. But an 0-2 count here to try to get another strikeout and send this game to the ninth inning. And, again, this is an elimination game. Arkansas losing to LSU on Saturday. Murray State losing to UCLA. Those two schools play later on tonight in the winner's bracket game. Coastal into the winner's bracket yesterday, and Louisville eliminated Arizona in bracket 1. So we got and I said to Elijah, too, there, believe it or not, there's a little bit more on this umpire now. I mean, everyone is involved. I'm not saying
Everyone
that the umpire
understands.
needs to do him any favors. What I mean by that with the umpire is, man, anything that's a borderline call, they're going to come after you, man.
Yep. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid you miss one that would have made a walk or something like that,
And like I say, for Murray State, they're trying to win a baseball game and stay alive. This is high drama. This is great.
Cage Wood is locked into, like, they'll show his face, on the mound. I don't think I've seen that kid blink once. He's got that look in his eye.
He does. He's dealing today.
Oh, my God, what a pitch.
Beautiful curveball. My goodness.
16 strikeouts through 8 innings. My God.
Wow. All right, we'll keep you up. It shows it right here. This would be there. So there have been 2 no-hitters
in College World Series.
In the College World Series. That's it. 2 in the World Series. So this would be number 3.
I really wish we had the video on us during the commercial breaks. I'll send it to you, like our commercial screen on the on the YouTube page, because we both actively actively reacted to when we saw that.
I
want to
see it, man. I want to see it. I mean, it's not about what you're pulling for. It's
cheering for history.
Yeah. It's cool, man. That's cool. No matter what, that's good stuff. Real quick here, a couple of things to get to around college sports. Wisconsin's football team has been placed on 1 year's probation and been fined $25,000 after 9 different coaches and staffers made impermissible phone calls back in 2023. Former defensive line coach and others received 1 year show cause orders. Greg Scruggs is the coach. He is now an assistant with the Niners, so shouldn't be a problem. And former player personnel director Max Steinecker now works with the Southern California football team in a different role. Luke Fickell, the head coach, was determined to have violated head coaching responsibility rules. Basically, whether you knew about it or not, you are responsible for what your staff does.
It's like if you knew about it, you're responsible for it. If you didn't know about it, you should have known about it.
Well, and look, this isn't that big a deal. It's a year's probation, and Fickell, I think this week, Elijah, I'm serious, this week, Luke Fickell can't talk with high school prospects. Literally this week. Started yesterday, and it'll end this weekend. So for 1 week, during the active recruiting month, Luke Fickell is not allowed to have recruiting communication with high school prospects. That's his punishment. So somebody else can.
Just not him.
Just not Luke. So if I'm Luke, I'm just heading on vacation and leaving my phone in my office. If
anything, that's a reward, not a punishment.
Yeah, maybe so. Wisconsin, though, put out the statement. Let me read this first. It says, Wisconsin athletics is deeply committed to maintaining the highest level of integrity and holding ourselves accountable. We believe in doing things the right way, no matter the consequences. The issue at hand occurred 2 years ago under a rule that was actively being changed and no longer exists. We identified the mistake and were proactive in self-reporting and investigating and resolving the issue. That's a statement from Wisconsin Athletics. I like that, though. A rule that was actively being changed and no longer exists. That's how much of what we have heard lately. Hey, well, it's legal now. Yeah.
It just wasn't.
But it
when
wasn't
you did it.
then. So it's, but so don't give me the, well, hey, most people don't even care about what we did. Yeah, you can't break the rules. And look, they're 25.
There's still rules.
And what is 25,000? I mean, come on.
I mean, this isn't really like a harsh punishment.
No.
Slap on the wrist.
Again, one coach that did it is in the NFL. Another guy's at another school. And you're right, Elijah. For a week, your head coach can't talk to high school kids.
Which I'm sure is a welcome reprieve to him.
Again, hit the beach, Luke.
Hit the beach, take the family somewhere nice.
Yeah. Just don't even worry about it. All right, we're into the top of the ninth now. One out, nobody on for Arkansas, who leads Murray State 3-0 in an elimination game. But again, the big story is Gage Wood, the starting pitcher for the Hogs, was perfect into the 8th inning, but hit a batter. So the perfect game gone, the no-hitter intact, and 16 strikeouts, no walks, just the one HBP. That's it. And I was kind of hoping for him to get like a double play ball and have the minimum batters faced still be there.
Still be intact.
That'd be pretty cool.
Still wouldn't be a perfect game, but you could say that he went.
That's right. Oh, so we'll update you on that. And I'll say, well, should I say? No, you know what? I was going to save something for the drive around, but I want to tell, there's an interesting story about kinfolk doing something in college football. So I'll share that with you on the other side, and we'll keep you updated on the no-hit bid for Gage Wood. Again, it will only be the third no-hitter in College World Series history if he can get 3 more outs. And we're assuming that Dave Van Horn's going to let him, right?
You have to. You have to.
100. How many pitches is he throwing?
He's at 103, I think.
Yeah, you have to let him try.
Yeah.
You have to let him try.
But
He's dealing too, man.
I mean,
he's dealing.
By virtue of just him being unhittable right now. Yeah. Like his fastball's still hitting 97, 98. He's getting incredible movement on that curveball. That
curveball's going too. I mean, that last strikeout he just had was
beautiful. There's a lot of movement. Man. He's got major league stuff.
Oh, he's going. Yeah. He's going to be a high draft pick.
First round, I would say.
Yeah. He's a high draft pick. But he's today he just moved up a few slots. That's what he's doing today.
I think so. I think he's turning some heads.
That's what he's doing.
Performance, because Murray State's been hitting everybody during this run, man. They're not just putting up runs.
Yeah.
In the regional against Ole Miss and against Duke and the Supers, man, they had multiple games of 10+ runs.
They got out of the Oxford regional with a 12-run game. Yeah.
And then what was it? They put up 18 or 19 against Duke in game 2 of that series.
In game 2, and scored 5 to win. I mean, that's no slouch.
Yeah.
So the next day. All right, there you go. And again, start, bench, drop, breakfast, lunch, dinner, lots more to do on the Postgame Show.
From the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell. A few accidents to get to you. They're causing some issues here on the roadways. Starting with an accident that's got the right lane completely blocked on 20 eastbound just after US 601 near exit 92. So traffic moving pretty slowly through there. We also have accidents on Bookman Road near Two Notch Road, Cox Ferry Road at Old Charleston, Long Green Parkway at Clemson Road, and lastly, one on Trenham Road at Highway 16 and North Beltline Boulevard.
Well, we're sort of taking a break from some of the regularly scheduled things we were discussing to follow history attempting to be made at the College World Series. Arkansas starting pitcher Gage Wood has now a no-hitter into the ninth inning. The perfect game done. He hit a batter in the eighth. He has just hit another batter. The play is under review because Arkansas believes that the hitter did not make any attempt to get out of the way of the ball. It is being challenged at this point, and that's a very dicey kind of ruling.
Very subjective.
It is. The kid, I will say, the kid didn't move.
No.
But you know, it was way out of the strike zone. I would say this is a hit by pitch, Elijah.
Yeah, I think so too. He moves his arm down.
Yeah, you can't say he leans into it. He did move his arm. And look, y'all, those of you in this town especially, y'all all know how much we follow college baseball. The HBP in college ball is such a much bigger part of the game.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it's like actively sought.
Oh, they reversed it. They reversed it.
So he's got to come back and hit. All right, so that runner is off.
Oh, wow. I don't know about that.
I don't
know about that. If I'm Murray State, I'm not happy.
Yeah. And they've called him out.
Is that the rule you called out?
Yeah, because you don't make an attempt. Yeah.
Oh, I don't love that.
So you're called out. I don't like this, and I don't like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, again, incredibly subjective. Two, Murray State is trying to stay alive at the College World Series. Right? We've got a lot of different storylines going on with a game like this, but you've got a no-hit bid. You had a perfect game into the eighth. Now you've got a no-hit bid into the ninth. It's an elimination game, and again, just to remind all of you, Arkansas is winning this game 3-0. So they need these 3 outs. I don't like that call. I just, again, it's not about anything other than I just don't know that that's the right call.
I don't think so either. Especially in a game, like you said, a game of this magnitude where it's that close. I mean, we're watching the same thing, and I mean, he moves his arm in. Like, if a ball's coming in, I'm not leaving my arm out.
Yeah, he didn't lean into the pitch. He didn't stick his arm out. He did move his arm.
And really, that's where my distinction would be. And in a call like that, my thing would be, did you lean into it?
Right.
And if you leaned into it, then sure. But, like, if you, didn't make massive attempt to get out of the way. Like, he didn't hit, like, if you're not, like, you don't have to hit the deck or anything like that is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to completely, like, try to dodge it. But if the ball's in like that, it's in like that. I mean, it's not the batter's fault. The pitcher threw it in.
I agree. I think that should be runner on first, nobody out. And then you and I were talking that, should the no-hit bid or anything go away from this, and all of a sudden the tying run comes to the plate.
I guess there are 2 strikes there right there, because I think Curtis says on our text line, says it's called a strike, and that was the 3rd strike.
Okay. But if had that been the case, there's another. Man,
96.
He's still throwing 96 miles an hour on pitch number 114.
Guy's a machine.
Wow. So anyway, this would be, if he can pull it off, would be the third no-hitter ever at the College World Series.
Get him another strikeout at 97.
A 97-mile-an-hour strikeout. So 1 out.
That's strikeout number 17 for those keeping score at home.
My goodness. It's impressive stuff, man. It really is impressive stuff. Real quick here, and I'll throw this back into the drive around, but Elijah, you can tell your dad that it's staying in the family. The first football commitment for the Tennessee Vols 2027 class came in today. Coach Fulmer's grandson, J.P. Peace, announced his commitment. He is 6'3", 215-pound. It says defender. I don't really know what that means. At 6'3", 215.
A soccer commit?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, a defender.
Linebacker, maybe, or safety, or maybe at that size and still some room to grow that you're.
They should say tweener.
Find out what you're going to play at 6'3", 215. By the time you get to be a freshman in college, you might be up to about 230. It feels like a linebacker, especially at 6'3". What was Coach Fulmer? Offensive lineman, right?
Offensive lineman, yeah. I saw that on Twitter today too, and Noah Taylor, who used to cover the team for a while, posted a picture of Philip Fulmer when he played, and my God, that guy looks the exact same at age 20 as he does at however old he is now. That was a grown man appearance, like an older man appearance in a younger man's body.
Yeah, what's Coach Fulmer now? Like 70?
Gotta be right.
That sounds about right.
I want to get 71.
Give or take. There it is. It's done. Gage Wood, a no-hitter.
Wow.
Only one base runner. It was a hit by pitch on a curveball that got away from him out of the zone in the 8th inning.
That's remarkable. 18 strikeouts.
18 strikeouts, no walks, and 1 over the minimum.
He is feeling like he is on the top of the world right now. That is awesome.
One little bit of controversy in there.
Yeah, a little bit. But hey, you know what? I think you might have earned some leeway if you strike out 17 before.
Can't have anything without a little controversy in the world. So that's good. You got to have a little something to say, well,
And if you're Murray State, you can't say that was the difference in you winning and losing because you couldn't hit this kid all day.
You couldn't. He was, again, it was brilliant to watch. 96, 97 into the 9th. 18 strikeouts, 2 strikeouts per inning. It's a remarkable performance.
That is, I think that is up there, maybe even better than the Kamar Rocker. Now that I'm trying to think about it, I'm comparing the no-nos I've seen.
Well, again, the Kumar one was in the tournament.
Yeah, it was in Super Regional.
Yeah.
I think that was,
but not. I don't want to say. Look,
they didn't clinch it. I think that was game 2.
Yeah, I don't think that moved them on yet. I can't remember for sure. I remember when that happened, but I just can't remember exactly. But this, again, this was an elimination game at the College World Series. So there was a lot on the line for a day like this. Yeah, Gage Wood just went up a few notches in the draft board too.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's a good way to endear yourself to some MLB scouts.
And I feel, I feel for the Murray State kids because not like in a they got jobbed way, feel bad. But here's their story. It's such a good story. They go to an SEC school and win a regional. They go to Duke and they win the Super. And then your season, your footnote might be you were no hit at the College World Series.
That's how it's going to be remembered. Your trip to Omaha will be remembered by being no hit.
You were no hit instead of being able to put on a heck of a performance. But it's because one of the best performances we've ever seen just happened.
And that's going to be that's pretty memorable.
And just if you didn't hear me say it, y'all, it's the third no-hitter ever at the College World Series.
And if you didn't get a chance to watch any of this today, if you can catch highlights and just see some of the pitches that he's thrown, it's nasty.
Oh, he's dealing.
He was dealing today.
And again, he wants to. I promise you. He is going to. He's going to love that he did this. and he is going to want that curveball from the 8th inning back so badly.
Bad. He'll remember that pitch.
He will.
For as long
That
as
will
he
be.
lives.
I promise you, that will be the pitch he remembers. That will be the pitch that he remembers above any other. So that's again, congratulations, Gage Wood. Arkansas Razorbacks move on. Again, now they get the loser of tonight's game between UCLA and LSU. LSU beat Arkansas Saturday night. UCLA, of course, beat Murray State. So Murray becomes the second team to say goodbye to Omaha. Arizona was eliminated by Louisville yesterday with the Cardinals scoring 6 in the 8th to take a 3-2 deficit to an 8-3 win. Coastal moving on.
So with all of that, now the updated scoreboard for our College World Series draft.
Oh, yeah.
You're winning 2-0.
Who is? I am?
You are.
Okay.
2 points to no points.
Can I get those applied to Jay versus the Internet?
You can't.
Oh, that's
no. But there is a game from tonight on there.
Okay.
And it does involve, well, 2 of your teams that you drafted that are on your College World Series roster. We're now both down to 3 teams.
I'm going to look up the latest draft projections and find out where Gage Wood is. We'll tell you that next. Start, bench, drop, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Those are your choices today. We'll have some more of those for you. And I guess it's Jay or Nay time on the other side, too.
That would be a J.
All right. You're listening to the Postgame Show. Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union could be the best place for you and your family to finance your next vehicle. Maybe you've got a graduate in the family that's being rewarded with a new car, or maybe somebody's heading off to college. They need something reliable, and you don't want to have to worry about it. Maybe it's for you, just to reward yourself. Maybe you want something for the upcoming tailgating season or hunting season, whatever it might be. Shop all across the Midlands, then head over to the folks at Palmetto Citizens and see how much money you can save. And they do indeed have lower rates. You can, listen, go right now to palmettocitizens.org and check it out. They offer the same low rates on all new to 21 models. Great options for older vehicles as well. Many of their payment plans have no payments for up to 90 days. Plus, they offer additional coverage and insurance options dealerships simply can't beat. So, again, go online, learn more, apply today, palmettocitizens.org, or stop into any of their 14 convenient Midlands locations. Join my wife and me as members at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. right, welcome back in. Excuse me, Postgame Show rolling on here on this Monday. Coming up top of the hour, headlines of the day. Get you ready for tonight's Game 5 of the NBA Finals. See what Elijah thinks about that with a little EBPI forecast. Talk about LaNorris Sellers next hour, too. Big feature on him done today at The Athletic by Bruce Feldman. Good stuff. What does that mean for Carolina? And we'll have a drive around the SEC. All right, I just looked it up. Again, if you've just tuned in, story of the day absolutely is Gage Wood, starting pitcher for the Arkansas Razorbacks, just threw the third ever no-hitter at the College World Series and the first no-hitter in Omaha since 1960. Even I was not around yet.
My dad wasn't even around yet.
So there you go.
Several generations.
And I said I would look up the draft rankings. Gage, as of the last ESPN, not mock, but ranking of prospects, again, different than mock draft, is rated as the number 21 player in all of college baseball, or at least draft eligible. So it's not because there's high school kids too.
Yes.
Number 21 draft eligible player in America, number 5 pitcher in America as we speak. So he's very, very good, and he just moved up the list.
I think so. Yeah, throwing a no-hitter in the College World Series.
Yeah, and officially
That's your legend a little bit.
19 strikeouts, no walks, just 1 HBP in the 8th inning. That's it. And again, a curveball he wants back real bad.
Yep.
Because the next few he snapped off were perfect. But he missed that one. And it hit the kid on the top of the foot.
It's like with a catcher, if you could just lean over just like another inch or two,
right,
you're at least deflecting the ball away from hitting the batter.
And again, a little controversy in the ninth. He hit a second batter on the elbow, and they deemed that the kid didn't move. And you're supposed to make some attempt at getting, out of the way of the ball. And they say he didn't. I don't like the call they made. I think he should have stayed on first base with an HBP.
Mm-hmm.
But the umpires and I guess whoever reviews it, they looked at it and said, "Yeah, no, you gotta try to get out of the way, kid." And
don't love it in that spot in the bottom of the ninth in a College World Series game.
If this is a game in April, okay. Yeah, elimination game in Omaha, not so much. All right, let's play some game show music and see what happens.
Your favorite part of the day.
It is. I live for this.
J or nay? We kind of alluded to the big Rafael Devers trade yesterday, but J or nay? Shohei Ohtani returning to the mound is worse news for the rest of the National League than the Giants acquiring Rafael Devers.
Nay. I don't know. Well, worse news?
Like if you're a Cincinnati Reds fan like me and you're starting to make a little bit of a run and you're looking at other teams in the National League, seeing who you can pass up in wild card standings.
I'm torn on this, to be honest with you. I know, look, he wants to pitch, and this is part of the deal. Like, I'm not coming to you, and then y'all, have Dave Roberts decide, oh, hey, buddy, you're not going to pitch. He's like, I'm going to pitch. So I don't know if it's worse news. So I'll say nay. It's not worse news.
J or nay? The J.J. Spawn back nine comeback is the best non-Pacers related comeback in sports in 2025.
J. I had to think about a few things real quick.
I had to go through the list in your head of things that have happened this year.
Because the way his round started, after he had played so well to open the tournament, he caught no breaks, and then he caught some breaks. And then he made a break of his own. And then he just, to make that putt, wow.
That putt was incredible.
You don't make that
putt. The break on it, too.
Yeah, you don't make that putt to make that putt. You just want to get that thing within 3 feet.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing there. And it went in. Amazing.
But wouldn't it have been funny though if he maybe just put it like 3 feet short of the hole and then taps it in, they had a winning score of even par to win.
Right.
And everybody else is above.
But again, when McIntyre, and we'll talk more about it in a minute, but when McIntyre was in the clubhouse at +1, it changed the dynamic, man.
Yep.
Because then there's a score. That's all they tell you in golf, right? Hey, you just post something.
Yep.
Once you're in, you're in.
That's it. You can't change it.
So that was really fun yesterday. And this today, I'm all abuzz about what just happened, man.
This is awesome.
That was big. Hour 3 coming up.
History. From the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell. A few accidents to get to you. They're causing some issues out on the roadways, starting with one on Bookman Road near Two Notch Road, Calks Ferry Road at Old Charleston, a pair of them on I-20 eastbound, one at I-77 near exit 76A, the other after US 601 near exit 92. We also have accidents on Long Green Parkway at Clemson Road, Trotter Road at Garner's Ferry Road, and lastly, one on Two Notch at I-77.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Monday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the Postgame Show alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. History made today at the College World Series. That's where we'll start. Arkansas star pitcher Gage Wood tossing the third ever no-hitter at the College World Series and the first in Omaha since 1960. He also set another record by striking out 19 batters today, allowed no walks, and only one Murray State player did reach base. That was in the 8th inning on a hit by pitch. The only other no-hitters thrown in Omaha are Jim Erler of Texas in 1950 and Jim Wixon of Oklahoma State in 1960. He again, was perfect for better than 7 innings. But that HBP is the one that he is going to want back. He set the College World Series record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game. And then again, a little bit of controversy in the 9th when he hit another Murray State batter. But Arkansas wanted a review. The catcher immediately pointed to, claiming that the Murray State hitter didn't do enough to get out of the way of the ball. And the umpiring crew and the video review crew agreed with that. So that runner, and we were told, because, again, we were trying to keep up with a lot of things and still do our show all at the same time. That was technically a third strike is what I guess that was the ruling. So that's why the runner was deemed out rather than getting to go back and simply resume his at-bat. Regardless, only one runner. So congratulations. And we were looking it up, too, just if you're wondering how good this kid is. Because sometimes guys might, like guys you never heard of will do something like this. Gage Wood is the number 21 overall draft prospect for this summer's draft and the number 5 pitcher in this summer's draft. That's not in mock drafts. That's in the player rankings. So number 21 overall, number 5 pitcher. But today he was on top of it. And oh, yeah, it's an elimination game at the College World Series, and you just went the distance for your team. So an already good bullpen didn't have to pitch today. And that, Elijah Campbell, might – look, the story is the story, obviously.
Yes, the no-hitter.
But the story of what it means and how this affects Arkansas is tremendous. Because you would think in an elimination game, whoever your head coach is – I'll do whatever I got to do. And today, I got to leave you out there, kid.
You didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Didn't have to.
I mean, for Dave Van Horn is happier than Gage Wood right now. For a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons, yeah. Like staving off elimination.
Yeah.
Your pitchers threw a
But I didn't have to use my
no-hitter.
bullpen. That's what the coach in him was like, I didn't have to use my bullpen.
He's getting back to the hotel tonight. He's like, all right, so we have so many contingency plans we can roll with tomorrow because they will be playing tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Answer your question
Okay.
during the break.
So tomorrow we have Louisville versus
Oregon State
State.
at this same time slot.
Okay. And then tomorrow night will be Arkansas versus tonight's loser.
Yep.
And that's UCLA LSU. Coastal is advanced until at least Wednesday on the other side of the bracket, and tonight's winner will be in the same boat.
Yep. They'll automatically punch their ticket to the semifinals if you think about it that way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Coastal looked good yesterday.
They looked really good.
Yeah.
Continue to look good. How about that?
They do. Coastal has looked good in this tournament.
Putting the coast in Coastal.
I'll do what you typically would do to me here, not necessarily an Elijah or Nay. You and I felt like Arkansas would come into this as the best team in the tournament.
Yep.
They were the betting favorite in this tournament, and not just in this. I mean, in the entire 64 school field. And then once everybody got to Omaha, they were tied with LSU at like plus 350 or something like that. This should put them right back on track, right? Especially with the.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it. Again, we've seen it firsthand here in Columbia. You can come out of the losers bracket and win the College World Series. Is it harder? Absolutely. Is it doable? Absolutely. And more teams do it than just Carolina in 2010. But I like Arkansas's chances now. And Gage Wood will be able to pitch again in what would be a championship series game 2.
Yes.
I think he could pitch again on Sunday.
Yep. And if you're Arkansas, too, think about it this way. Like, if you're Dave Van Horn, this is kind of like the thought process you kind of have to be going through with your team, saying, look, we knew at the beginning of the College World Series when we got here to Omaha, you're going to have to beat LSU more than once, more than likely. You're still in that same boat. You still got to beat LSU more than once. The one loss just means you got to do it consecutively. But I think this is a team that knows they can beat anybody in the country. I think they're very self-aware of how good they are. But that's not a tall task. And they're going to have to get a little deeper into their starting rotation because Gage Wood's not going to be available. And there's a good chance LSU might have to get a little deeper into that as well. And if you're Arkansas, that's what you want, right? You're built to win further on in a tournament like this because you have so many good pitchers, not just in that rotation, but in the bullpen as well, that if you even have to bullpen a game, say you beat UCLA and have to take on LSU, if you have to bullpen a game, you feel really good about your chances just because they do have one of the better all-around pitching units.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just top of my head, we can look it up. Did LSU and Arkansas play in the regular season?
They did.
Okay.
And LSU took 2 of 3.
Okay.
And that was at the box.
Okay.
Very late in the season. I think that was the last series of the season.
Okay. So, and LSU looked strong the other night, that Saturday night. That was the final game of the opening round. So, there you go. So, again, Gage Wood, Arkansas right-hander, goes the distance, 19 strikeouts, no walks, 1 HBP, 28 batters faced, the third ever no-hitter at the College World Series. And, again, was perfect into the 8th inning.
That was fun.
That was, man.
That was a lot of fun.
Like I said, and I don't think I used the word derailed, but we had, believe it or not, Elijah and I did have topics to discuss today.
We did. We had more than just this. But when someone's throwing a perfect game through 7 innings in the College World Series, that kind of pivots the focus a little bit. For those of you who have been with us through most of the afternoon, we just kind of looked up at one point, and we basically said something to the effect of, Gage Wood's dealing today. And they were like, yeah, okay. Has he not? And so we pulled up the box score like, oh, he hasn't given up a hit. Oh, he hasn't given up a walk. Wait. I think it was in the 6th inning, right? Like, when the light kind of realized, the light came on. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like he's throwing a perfect game. And there it was, man. So almost 2.
19 strikeouts, too. Like, that's another thing. Dude.
And look, I don't know what the last one was, but I know one of his last strikeouts was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the 9th inning.
After he already threw north of 110 pitches.
Yeah, he ended up throwing right around 120. I'll look that up in a second. Let me see. Hang on. He threw 119 pitches. Yeah, he threw 119 pitches.
It's a historical performance. Wow. That is now the news of sports today. And
again, not only the third ever no-hitter at the College World Series, but he just today set the record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game at the College World Series.
Yeah,
with 19.
Probably won that pretty easily. I don't know what the record was.
I don't know. This particular article doesn't say, because I guess it's so fresh. I'm sure that now the historians are working on this,
are looking to see,
to give us the context. So we'll soon enough here, and hopefully before we leave the air, we may have that. I haven't had a chance to get that much research done. But like I said, too, number 21 overall prospect in this summer's draft, the number 5 pitching prospect in this summer's Major League Baseball draft. So where he goes, I don't know, but
There are Major League Baseball teams in the bottom of that first round that are cutting up this performance, and they have it saved in a file in case their team drafts him, and they're immediately going to tweet that out within seconds of him being drafted.
So there you go. Good stuff. 3-0. And again, Murray State eliminated from the College World Series. They join Arizona as the first two out tonight. UCLA and LSU. Coastal winning yesterday comfortably over Oregon State. So they are in the winner's bracket. Again, tonight's winner is in good shape. And tomorrow, Oregon State versus Louisville, elimination game. Arkansas versus tonight's loser in an elimination game. But congratulations to young Gage Wood. Speaking of pitchers, as we get our integrated media headlines moving on to the bigs, Shohei Ohtani will return to the mound tonight. It will be the first time that he has pitched in 22 months. A second repair of his UCL last year. According to what the Dodgers are saying, he is likely to only throw an inning, maybe two.
Using him as an opener.
Dave Roberts said after last night's game, quote, he's ready to pitch in a major league game. He let us know that. Yes, he did. Because, again, he's not there for Dave Roberts to go, hey, buddy, I don't want you to pitch. All right? So can you do me a solid and not pitch?
Can you just be the MVP at the plate, please?
Let's see. He made 9 starts and a 3.10 ERA for the Angels in 2018. Sprained that UCL, had surgery, returned as a two-way player during the COVID year. Didn't pitch all that well. Then had 2 MVPs when he was doing terrifically on the mound in 2021, 22, 23. He posted a combined 2.84 with 542 strikeouts, 143 walks in 428 and a third. But again, has had a second UCL surgery. So when he pitches, he's real good.
That's the best part about Shohei Ohtani is that he, at one point when he was pitching, was one of the best pitchers in the league and one of the best hitters. You have 2 and 1.
I mean,
which is why when he comes back, like if he's in a full-time starting role and you add him to that already intimidating rotation of starting pitchers the Dodgers have.
Yeah, I may want to change my J or nay.
That's scary. That's scary for the rest of baseball because they won the World Series without him having to pitch. Now you'd basically just acquired a Cy Young caliber pitcher at the deadline.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a very fair way to put it. That's a very fair way to put it. Speaking of baseball, the Atlanta Braves fell yesterday. Even though Grant Holmes was amazing, Atlanta loses 10-1 to the Colorado Rockies. Tonight, the New York Metropolitans come to town for 3. Mets not having a good week, but nevertheless still way out in front in the East. David Peterson will start for New York. He's 5-2 with a 2.49. Spencer Schwellenbach will go for Atlanta 5-4 with a 3.11. Spencer had a complete game himself the last time he pitched, so that was good. But and for some reason, the bookies make the Braves betting favorites a lot more than they probably should. I don't know what do they use AI now? Like, is it just the computer saying that Atlanta has good players? Because Atlanta's minus 135, the Mets are plus 115.
They're banking on a lot of positive regression to the mean. Atlanta's played under it, especially in that lineup, man.
Yeah.
I think it's banking on guys like Matt Olson and Ozzie Albies, Sean Murphy.
Poor Ozzie.
A lot of those guys.
Something's up with Ozzie. I don't know what. I love
he's
Ozzie.
going to the plate with a fly swatter.
Yeah, I love Ozzie Albies too. I'm not here to be overly critical, but something's up with Ozzie. I know that wrist was bothering him, and maybe it's just worse than he lets on. I'm not sure.
Could be.
But, I mean, the power's gone. Remember, I mean, for a little guy, he used to have such pop, and it's just not there.
Had for years.
It's just not there. Something's not. I don't know if he just needs to take a year off.
But at any point in your life, in your baseball watching life, Jay Phillips said, have you ever seen a starter go 6 1/3, strike out 15, and his team still find a way to lose 10-1? I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, I can't recall it, so I won't tell you it's never happened. But
Nolan Ryan might have had that happen to him in Houston.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Some of his Houston teams were good. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but yeah, I feel bad for Grant Holmes and his hair and mustache.
That's automatically, what do we joke? That's 4 strikeouts going in?
No, his hair had 3 and mustache had 1, then he had the other 11. because it's spectacular.
You
air.
walk in the ballpark dressed and looking like Kenny
Kenny
Powers,
Yeah.
then you've got it going on, dude.
That's
I'm
it.
betting on you every time.
NBA returns tonight. Should have played last night. I really don't know what they're thinking, but whatever. Pacers are at the Thunder. Thunder with a big comeback. SGA and the defense turning the tide in Indianapolis on Friday night. OKC is a 9.5-point favorite tonight. This is kind of it. I mean, Indiana's got to win this game.
Yeah. Oh, they have to.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know if they have to. I mean, you can still lose
it's
this,
not
then
must win, but
you're going to at this point, because Oklahoma City won Game 4 on the road. You got to steal one on the road if you want to win this title anyway.
I mean,
so
you
can either do it tonight or do it in Game 7.
But you had a 9-point lead Friday night. You just gotta find a way. Even if you win by 1, you gotta find a way.
That one's going to hurt.
That's our integrated media headlines of the day. LaNorris Sellers in the national spotlight after a big Bruce Feldman report. We'll get into that and more for you when the postgame show returns. So a few weeks ago, our near 18-year-old upstairs air conditioning system where my kids sleep finally gave out. It'd been repaired once by AAA Heating and Air, but I was told, hey, it's probably about that time. And I tell you all that a lot. When it's just old, it's time for something new. Within, 48 hours, I had called Roy Finley and the folks at AAA Heating and Air and had the new system installed. Again, that's from call to installation inside of 48 hours for a brand new system. Now my kids are very happy. There's no complaining because it's too hot, which, again, not their fault. If you need that, 803-677-1500, $1,500 system buyback rebate, 15-year parts and labor warranty, and guaranteed financing from AAA. Stay cool, then stay warm. Just stay comfortable for many years to come. 803-677-1500. Work with the great people at AAA Heating and Air. And tell them we sent you. 20 minutes after 5 o'clock here on a Monday afternoon. Welcome back into the Postgame Show. Jay and Elijah with you. We'll talk about LaNorris Sellers here in just a second, but I want Elijah to share this because I knew this would happen. This is funny, but I knew this would happen.
Oh, yeah. As soon as the game ends, and I forget the name of the woman who's the sideline reporter for ESPN, but obviously game ends, she goes over to Gage Wood with the microphone and says, Gage, you just threw the third no-hitter in College World Series history. What are your emotions right now? And the first thing that comes out of his mouth, I shouldn't have hit that guy.
Yeah. He's going to, he will, in a good way, it will haunt him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you threw a no-hitter, 28 batters. You won over the minimum. You helped your team stave off elimination. You saved the bullpen. I mean, everything. You set a record for strikeouts. But as a pitcher, he will remember. I was telling Elijah, I don't like to make this about me. And believe me, all I did was pitch through high school. But I threw a one-hitter once on the road in a conference game at my high school. And I was perfect through 4. I walked a guy in the 5th. And I was so flustered that I wanted to just throw over to first base to just kind of reset myself. And, again, I was so flustered, I forgot to throw the ball. That's a balk. And so that guy's on second in the 5th inning. Again, I'd been perfect otherwise. And the umpire comes over and says, you know why you ball? I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do. I'm sorry. I was just like, I didn't apologize. I was just like, yeah, I do. Thank you. Got out of that inning. And in the 6th, the team we were playing, their catcher came up. I forget how many outs there were in the 6th inning. But he had a rope of a single over my shortstop's head in the left field. So that was the hit. Got out of that inning, and then I got him, if I remember correctly, I did. I got him 1, 2, 3 in the 7th to win the game and throw a one-hitter. My point is, I told Elijah, I can still see that baseball. Those two things. I can remember not throwing to first just to, like, get my head set. That's how I was like, oh, man, because I knew what I was doing. And I can still see that single being hit. That
play is the one you're going to remember the most.
That's
not any of the strikeouts or anything like that. That's the one you remember.
I remember what I did wrong in an otherwise really good game. So, again, I'm not trying to make that about go like, hey, wow, I was, but I have a little bit of that from my youth. So that but again, I can get big kid, their catcher. I could still see that ball getting hit. I was like, oh man,
hurts.
Yeah, but he did. It was a good single. Right over my shortstop's head, too. Like, just frozen rope. Anyway, so LaNorris Sellers was the feature of a terrific piece from Bruce Feldman today. And those of you who have, followed college football a long time and you know what Bruce is about. So if Bruce is doing a feature on you, you've hit a different level because this is what Bruce does. He covers the big national stories all year long. And it's a really... it's a good look because he starts it off with last year's Old Dominion game. And remember, we had seen really just a couple of literal flashes of LaNorris in a backup, not even a backup role for Spencer Rattler, just some opportunities because they did all they needed to preserve that red shirt. So he saw, as we all know, very limited action. But we also knew probably midway through that freshman season of his, when Spencer was still here, Elijah, that this was going to be his team. I mean, the buzz around him was so strong. He wasn't going to ever supplant Spencer Rattler. But you just, they were developing him accordingly and a
true redshirt year.
Yeah, we knew what Dowell wanted to do with him and how Shane felt about him and all those kind of things. And so we knew it was going to be his job. I mean, Shane said the right things. Remember that spring, like, hey, we're here to compete. And we believed him.
But they didn't go big game hunting in the transfer portal.
They knew they had, and I think Carolina, and now we've seen it, and now you're talking about a guy, because let's be honest. This time last year, there was no, hey, LaNorris Sellers, in a couple of years might be a top 10 pick. Now, you hear that about a lot of quarterbacks, but you weren't hearing it about LaNorris. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of relative to his recruitment and what he's become. But I think Shane and Dowell had, because they see him every day. Literally. And that's one of the things about it. Like Dowell admits, and really Dowell gave us a lot, and Bruce got to Dowell and got a lot of good stuff. But Dowell was like, hey, I was intentionally hard on him. I mean, I threw him out of practice one day when he made just one mistake.
Threw interception in a 2-minute drill. He kicked him out of practice.
Yeah. And and he said I needed to do some of those things because I needed to know if he could handle the lows. Because basically, and if you read between the lines, Dowell's like, I know he's going to have highs. Because we got a diamond in the rough here kind of a thing. But I needed to make sure that when I was hard on him, that he was going to be able to survive it and then thrive. And look, the Old Dominion game was choppy, ugly, depending on how far you want to go with it. And he did play better against Kentucky, and he was playing terrifically against LSU. And then he got hurt. And then it was, maybe, and Dowell admits we maybe shouldn't have brought him back against Mississippi. Again, I think a lot of things early in that game derailed everything you had worked for when it came to playing Mississippi. But then after that, again, I know I still look at the Alabama game as a true turning point. I thought he played a really good game. He made one glaring mistake and another mistake. But look, when you're a 21-point dog at Bryant-Denny and you did what you did that day to keep your team in that game, and Alabama was still really good, y'all. What you realized was that South Carolina was really good too. Let's not pretend that Alabama last year was 3-9. They were also a 9-win team, and I know they had a couple of bad losses.
And their fan base, the way they talk about them, probably made you think about it because it's Alabama.
It's Alabama. If you don't win 10 games at Alabama, you have had a relatively bad year, and that's fair. That's what's been built. That's fair. But then, obviously, to do what he did the rest of the way, and I mean the A&M game, the Missouri game, the Clemson game, and he was brilliant. And he wasn't bad in the bowl game. It was just a weird game for a lot of different things. But I mean, he had a chance late. And you kind of felt like, man, I think they're going to go win. They didn't, but that's okay. But the piece is really good. It just illustrates the kind of guy he is. They talk to his dad a lot. Bruce makes mention, we don't know the school. But, Mr. Sellers basically saying, hey, we got contacted, and somebody was ready to pay us $8 million for 2 years. And we basically, as a family, said, no, we don't need that money. Let's go do what we're doing at Carolina. And he's doing good.
Yeah. I think they probably also have the foresight to be like, hey, you'll make a lot more money at the NFL if you keep doing what you're doing here. Yeah. I think they understand the opportunity here. And one thing I liked about what LaNorris said in that story was thinking about, if I go somewhere else for that money, I have to start completely new. I'm starting back from square one. He's already built something here. He's got the rapport with coaches. Him and Mike Shula have worked with each other now for a full season. And knowing what we learned in that story, too, is how much he idolized Cam Newton growing up and realized, hey, I could do what that guy does. If Cam can do it, I can do it. And he's playing for Cam Newton's old OC for the MVP year. I mean, this is a situation that is tailor-made for somebody like LaNorris Sellers, and I just think that it's a pretty wise decision to look at the opportunity you have here and what you can do for your draft stock as opposed to going somewhere else, starting new, and the risk of having to start new somewhere else when it might not be as advantageous a situation as what you got right here in your backyard.
And on that point, too, separately, but on that kind of point of starting over or whatever, the coaches that he had committed to at Syracuse ended up, coincidentally only being there for a season. So that would have, had he stuck with them, which wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, what happens then too. I thought it was funny you mentioned Cam. In this piece, LaNorris makes mention of like really taking the time to meticulously write a letter in cursive as like an 11-year-old to Cam Newton. And later found out that his mom never mailed it off. What I want now is for Mrs. Sellers or somebody to put that letter in the hands of Cam Newton now.
He's got to see it now.
He
has to see that.
Yeah. That's good stuff. But check that out at The Athletic. But a great feature piece from Bruce Feldman on LaNorris Sellers and how he's climbing up that national ladder. Drive Around the SEC is next.
From the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell. The few accidents to get to you that are causing some issues on the roadways this afternoon, starting with one on Gervais Street between Hughie Street and Millwood Avenue. Got one on 20 eastbound at I-77 at exit 76A, and then also one on 20 westbound. That's over after the Monticello Road exit 68. Also have an accident on Plowden Road at South Beltline Boulevard, Spear Creek Church Road near Highway 12 and Percival Road, Trotter Road at Garner's Ferry Road, and lastly, one on Two Notch Road at I-77.
It is Drive Around the SEC time on this Monday. Welcome back into the Postgame Show. Jay and Elijah with you. We will once again update the big story of the day, not just for an SEC guy. This is really the biggest sports story of the day, and this comes on the heels of yesterday's thrilling finish at the U.S. Open. But today in Omaha, Nebraska, Arkansas starting pitcher Gage Wood tosses the third ever no-hitter at the College World Series. It is the first since Oklahoma State's Jim Wixon tossed a no-hitter against North Carolina in 1960.
Remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was a big game. Jim Wixon was strong. Actually, I have no idea who Jim Wixon is. But he did do it against North Carolina in 1960.
I just learned who Jim Wixon was today.
What is it?
I was today years old when I learned that Jim Wixon threw the last no-hitter in the World Series.
Not only did Gage Wood throw that third ever no-hitter at the CWS, he also today set the record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game. He was perfect into the 8th. But a curveball on a 2-2 pitch hit Murray State hitter, a lefty, Dom Decker, in the foot. And then he, got out of that inning. And then in the 9th, he hit another guy that the umpires and the review crew, the replay crew, deemed did not do enough to get out of the way.
Don't love it.
I didn't either. Now, I'm not saying that would have put another guy on base, but it did change the dynamic. But then they said that, and so he was called out, and then Gage got out of it. So again, a little controversy, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the kid was dealing. And again, one of his final strikeouts was a 9th inning strikeout at 97 miles an hour. 19 strikeouts, no walks, 28 batters officially faced. Remarkable. And in an elimination game at the College World Series. So he does himself a solid. He does his team a solid. He does his coach a solid by not having to go to the bullpen through 119 pitches in 9 innings. That's a lot of pitches, but either way, Elijah, and when I say either way, he's not going to, if they make it to the weekend and to the championship series, he would be what he was today. He'd be their game 2 starter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he is. But it was fantastic. And as Elijah told us a little while ago, as I predicted, I think a lot of people predicted, the first thing he said in an interview was,
shouldn't have hit that guy.
That's right.
First words out of his mouth when asked how it feels to throw a no-hitter in the College World Series for the first time since 1960.
And that'll always be the story for him. I promise you. And I get it, but it's great. But congratulations. And that really, again, Elijah and I joked, it didn't derail our show, but it took over. It captivated us that much. We were watching history unfold.
Yeah, we'll always remember where we were.
Well, and
watching that happen.
Again, he and I were sitting here talking with y'all, and we're live on the air, kind of just going like, man, this kid's dealing today. And then we because we can't hear it and we can't keep our eyes on it.
Right.
I'd like to, but I'm sitting here talking with him and you, and we're doing our job, and so I'm like, all right. So we pulled up the box score, and as we're live on the air, going like basically in so many words, oh crap, he's throwing a perfect game.
We didn't realize it was a perfect game.
He was perfect. I think when we noticed it, he had gotten 16. He was in the 6th, and he had gotten 16 outs, and we watched him get 17 and 18, and we're like, Yeah, that's 18 up and 18 down through 6. And then you start to go like, oh, and then he got through the 7th. So that's 21 up, 21 down. And then I think he got one out, right?
Yeah.
Before he hit
the batter.
Yeah.
Man, I really wish we had still the cameras on while we're watching that, because the reaction from both of us was kind of like, no.
Yeah. So he hit him on the foot. Again, and he does. He wants that curveball back, because he was spinning some good curveballs today, too, in addition to throwing gas.
The break on those things,
yeah, he was throwing
insane.
some. I mean, he was as dialed in as he's ever been. And once again, just to like how good a pitcher is he? He's excellent. He is rated by the ESPN draft analysts. Again, this is not a mock draft. This is player rankings. He's number 21 in the country, and the number 5 pitcher in the country for this summer's draft. So that's high school draft eligible players. So high school or college players. He's number 21 overall. And the number 5 pitcher in the country. So he's excellent. And today he just, took another step. That's all. And he just added, I don't know how much money today. I won't say he added a 0. All right, he probably didn't do that today. But did he add more signing bonus money today? Yes, he did.
I think he did, because he's going to have something on his resume that nobody else that's getting drafted will have.
Yeah. So
I threw a no-hitter, a 19 strikeout no-hitter in the College World Series.
Yeah. And again, this doesn't put Arkansas in terrific shape, because somebody tonight, UCLA or LSU, is going to move to the winner's bracket and have to be beaten twice. And Arkansas, in order to make it, as all of you know, would have to win an extra game somewhere in there. But he has spared the bullpen for a day, and that cannot be overstated. Not at this level,
especially with Arkansas's bullpen.
Yeah,
like they pretty much have all of their best arms at their disposal for tomorrow night's game.
And look, they were the betting favorite for a reason. Today they didn't score a lot. Look, what we're not also doing too, Murray State played a really good baseball game today.
They pitched really well.
They really did.
That's a team that hits a ton of home runs and hits for a lot of power.
You made a point that, in the one big play for Arkansas, the Murray State right fielder had it. You almost wish that he had just dived for that ball instead of trying to shoestring catch it, or at least just block it. And it's just one of those tweeners. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like they were getting shelled or there was some crazy play. When you look at the baseball play that allowed a couple of Arkansas runs to score and stretch it just enough, you realize, like, there's really nothing wrong with that. It's almost one of those hit them where they ain't. Mm-hmm. And just, another foot or another half stride of speed, and he catches that ball. And it didn't quite. So the point being, Murray State wasn't like, just rocked out of the building today by Arkansas's bats. They were held in amazing check by one of the best starting pitching performances you'll ever see at any level.
And it's a bummer for Murray State for a story that good.
Yeah. To
talk about the stadium that only holds like 800 people, and, the coach who takes care of the field, and the lows that you can see very visibly out of left field, right? Like, it was such a good story to be a 4 seed to get to this point. And all most people remember of this run is, fun run, and then got no hit in what might be the greatest College World Series pitching performance we've ever seen. And
we were looking it up for perfect games, and again, this ended up not being a perfect game. But interestingly enough, the last time a Southeastern Conference pitcher threw a perfect game was 23 years ago, an Auburn pitcher, and he did it against Murray State.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, so as fate would have it. But again, not a perfect game today, but one batter over the minimum, and it was an HBP on a curveball the kid wants back.
Badly.
Know the feeling. So good stuff today. Again, rest of the College World Series. Yesterday, Coastal Carolina beat Oregon State to advance into the bracket 1 winners bracket. Louisville came from behind to eliminate Arizona with 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th. They were down 3-2, ended up winning 8-3. And again, tonight, UCLA and LSU. Winner is feeling great. The loser will see this Arkansas team tomorrow. And then tomorrow, Oregon State and Louisville in the bracket 1 elimination game. So Coastal's in great shape, and tonight's winner as well will be in great shape. But tonight's winner has to see this energized Arkansas team.
Mm-hmm. With a full bullpen.
Yeah. So I still like Arkansas's opportunity. I like Arkansas's opportunity a lot more then I like tomorrow's Oregon State-Louisville winners' chances against Coastal.
I do too. Coastal's just playing so good right now, man. They dominated.
And with a couple of days off now, their pitching
Oregon
just gets
State
to stay rested, and they again, they don't look troubled. So there you go. That's our drive around the SEC and, by extension, the College World Series. A little Jay versus the Internet, and we'll wrap up today's Start, Bench, Drop. If you want to get them in real quick, we're starting, benching, and dropping breakfast, lunch, dinner. Having some fun with that one, too. You're listening to the Postgame Show. Integrated Media, the absolute best when it comes to home theater and really just home technology. Listen, home theater speaks for itself, right? You want great television and sound, for all your favorite sports, movies. Yeah, sure. But what about when it comes to putting everything that your home can do into one place? And that's what Integrated Media can help you do with smart home technology. Listen, it's more than just the theater. It is integrating your lighting system, your thermostat, and your security system. They can install video doorbells, video cameras with your floodlights. They can, again, put all the other things into one place. They can do this indoors and outdoors. They can make sure that the Wi-Fi you have that you rely on for streaming, for gaming, anything else you're doing is commercial grade but built for the home so that everybody's devices work everywhere all the time. So way more than just home theater. They can do so much to change your life. 803-948-8327. The best in home technology, Integrated Media. Welcome back in. Final few minutes of the postgame show here on this Monday. Jay and Elijah with you. I do have some good news, Elijah Campbell.
Stay at Holiday Inn Express last night.
For those of you who are fans of the competitive eating circuit, your long national nightmare is over. Joey Chestnut is returning to the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest in Coney Island this summer on the 4th of July. He's the 16-time champion, but was banned last year.
Boo.
Because he had a sponsorship deal with Impossible brand, which makes plant-based meats. And the Nathan's people didn't like that. Now, it didn't mean he had to eat Impossible brand hot dogs while he was eating. He'll still eat meat.
Clearly. Clearly, yeah. No evidence to support he wouldn't.
You know, I thought it was kind of silly last year, to be honest with you. I'm like, come on, y'all. He has another sponsorship deal. You know.
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
He's the draw.
Yeah.
That man is the draw.
Major League Eating, yes, it's a thing. Major League Eating president Richard Shea says the contest is, quote, extremely excited to welcome Joey back to Coney Island this 4th of July for what will surely be the greatest Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest of all time.
Major League Eating just sounds like it's something that is in the movie Basketball.
So, there you go. So, Joey Chestnut, back. I do like a Nathan's hot dog.
It's good. I just don't know if I could do 70 of them.
I could do probably 3 in one meal, maybe 4 if I was really hungry.
If you're really hungry.
Yeah. All right, let's do some Jay versus the internet.
All right.
Is there a Joey Chestnut question on here?
Not this time, but
yet.
when we get close to the 4th of July,
All right.
don't count it out. Don't count out that possibility.
I'm here for it.
But you did drop a game over the weekend because the Pacers did not cover.
No.
Yeah, they did not. They were close, and they probably should have. But you're sitting at 25-33 on the year. The internet went 3-0 on Friday, so they're 29-29, back to 500. You're 4 games back. Got to gain some ground here.
All right, let's do it.
Thunder, 9.5-point favorites tonight against the spread. Who's winning Game 5?
That's so many points. I mean, you're giving a team 10 points basically in a finals, like, you know. Give me the Pacers plus the points.
Jay takes the Pacers plus 9.5. The internet, with 58% of the vote, says the Thunder cover it. So you can gain some ground there, too.
Well, I've probably been losing that one more often than not, but that's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. Role player roulette. Which of these role players will record the most points, rebounds, and assists in tonight's final game? Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Benedict Mathurin, or Obi Toppin?
Caruso had a good day the other day, right?
Yep. You guys both got that correct.
Yeah.
You and the internet both correctly chose Alex Caruso.
All right, I'll do Toppin tonight then.
Jay says Obi Toppin.
Because I remember saying that I thought Caruso would do it for the team that loses, but they ended up winning.
He did it for the team that won. He scored 20 points.
Yeah, he had a good game.
With 35% of the vote, just barely edging Alex Caruso at 30%. Obi Toppin, 35.
Uh-oh.
So in agreement there as well.
Okay.
And lastly, who wins tonight's game in the College World Series? UCLA or LSU?
That's just, it's just straight up, right?
Straight up.
Man. I LSU.
Jay had to really think about that. The internet did not. 89% said LSU.
Okay. See, no, I'll stick with LSU.
Sticking with LSU?
Yeah. They are really good.
And, yeah, they have a really good 1-2 pitching combo.
And you know what? The crowd will be so overwhelmingly for them. There's like 8 UCLA people there.
All 8 of them will be loud on their own.
Yeah. All right. We don't have time for start, bench, drop results, but that was fun. For mine, it was start, breakfast, bench, dinner, drop, lunch.
And that was the winning result.
Oh, wow.
That was the most popular one.
How about that? All right. Do it again tomorrow. See y'all.